Hello, this is Kate from dailytarotgirl.com, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the Oracle deck Vibrational Energy Oracle cards, and these are by Debbie A. Anderson. And I'll just show you the backs of the cards. So they're very pretty, nice blue, and the cards are a really nice size. They're kind of, I would say they're the size of your average tarot card. I usually think of oracle cards as being more square and tarot cards are more rectangular. So these are definitely more on the rectangular side, which is nice because it makes it really easy to shuffle the cards. So as you can see, I've got really tiny hands and they're no problem to shuffle. So they're a nice size. Now the cardstock is quite nice. It's a glossy finish, and they're thin enough to shuffle easily, but they're thick enough to be quite sturdy. They have a nice, definitely have a really nice feel to them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the deck and I'm going to let you have a look at it as I talk about the deck. One really, oh, I love this card. It's so beautiful. One really nice thing that I like about this deck that makes it very unique is that the cards were actually made in Canada. And I don't think I have any Oracle or Tarot card decks that are made in Canada. I think this is the only one. Most of them now are made in China, but there's still a lot that are being made in Europe, in Belgium and Italy. But so far this is the first deck that I have that's made in Canada, so that's kind of a nice feature. And these cards come with a guidebook, and I'm just going to quickly show you the guidebook and I'm going to come back to the cards. So the guidebook is, it's got lots of good information in it. It's got the description and meaning of each card, which is handy. And it also has a little bit of information about the deck, and then there is a really nice spread which uses 11 cards, and the spread, there's lots of explanation about how to use the spread, so that's handy. Now the one thing that really stood out to me with this deck as I was using it was that the artwork is very simple. There's no busyness, like the cards don't have a cluttered feel. They just have a very simple feel, which is nice because when you're reading with them, it makes you feel almost this sense of calm and clarity. It's almost like it kind of helps you clear your mind when you work with these cards. So it's like you kind of go into this sort of Zen state of mind when you work with these cards. Now, when I'm working with these cards, I like to use my intuition first when I look at the card, and then I like to look up the meaning in the book, because some of these cards, like, it's obvious kind of what the card means, and some of them not so much. So some of them it's nice to, look up the meaning in the book for additional information. I like this card. I've been getting this card a lot lately. Another thing that's really neat about these cards is that they're very neutral. So they're not really emotionally charged images. And what I mean by that is, if you've worked with tarot cards, a lot of the cards are kind of emotionally charged, like cards like, the Tower and the Devil, or the really positive cards like the Sun and, the Magician. Like, a lot of the cards have really strong kind of emotional feelings kind of attached to them. And what I like about this deck is that the cards are, like I said, they're sort of Zen-like almost. They're very, very simple, very calming. And even though the images are powerful, oh, I like this card, the F word, it's a good one. Even though the images are very powerful, they have a real neutral feel to them, which is good if you're feeling emotionally fragile, or if you're doing a reading around something that you feel really strongly about. using these cards isn't going to make you feel worse and dredge up a lot of really, stressful feelings. It's going to have the opposite effect. It's going to help you kind of put things in perspective and get clarity and kind of calm down if you're doing a reading, if you're feeling, really torn about something. One thing I really like about the artist, and these cards are illustrated by Heather Brewster. One thing I really like about the artwork is she uses a lot of geometric shapes in her art, which gives it a really nice spiritual feel. And these cards are really nice to use for, a one-card daily reading. And so you're probably wondering, okay, how do these cards read? So I've been doing plenty of readings for myself with this deck. And actually just before I did this video, I did a reading for myself and I asked, what is my vibration right now? So what is my current vibration? And I'll show you the cards that I got. Well, first I drew this card, which says End of Days, and I thought, ooh, wow, that's really powerful. That's really intense. And I read the meaning in the book, and I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense, yep. But then I drew a second card because I just wanted sort of more clarity on it. So I drew a second card, and I got Creative Explosion, and it's actually very similar to the End of Days card. Some of the imagery is quite similar. And just having that second card really confirmed what I was feeling and made a lot of sense. And like I said, it's so similar, like the imagery is very similar to the End of Days card. So I thought that was interesting. And then I did another reading for myself where I asked myself, I'm looking for a house right now, and it's hard, not to get sort of emotionally worked up when you find a house that you really like. And so I asked myself, how should I be energetically, or how should I approach, looking for a home? And I got openness, which to me says, remain open. Don't narrow your horizons. And then I drew a second card because I wanted a little more clarity, and I got Cosmic Prosperity, which I felt was all about, feeling prosperous and trusting in the universe and trusting that everything, works out the way it's meant to. So I thought those were both beautiful cards, and again, they both had a similar vibration to them. They had a similar feel and similar, imagery, so that that made me really feel like this deck is very accurate, which I really like. So to sum things up, I've really been enjoying working with this deck, and it's easy to use. It's, it's easy for beginners, and I think it would be wonderful for people who are, seasoned oracle card readers as well. Oh, this is a nice card, Perfect Storm. So, and here we are right back at the beginning. So I highly recommend this deck. It's been lovely working with it. And if you're interested in purchasing this deck, I'll put the information in my About section of this video. And I'm also going to link to the full review, the written review of this deck on my website. So if you want more information, want to read more about this deck, you can just click on those links. Okay, my name is Kate. I'm from dailytarotgirl.com, and this has been my review of the Vibrational Energy Oracle cards. And thank you so much for watching.